And then let me talk about Mandarin class. Holy crap. So I'm thinking like, okay, like Monday and Wednesdays, I'm gonna get a break when I go to Mandarin class and I get to learn a new language. This is gonna be cool. I get to meet the other au pairs who are in the Mandarin class as well. This is gonna be fun. You don't, bitch! The agent is now giving me the directions to the Mandarin class, right? He gave very good directions from the subway to the Mandarin class. But there's a whole gap missing. How do I get from my house to the subway station, right? The thing is, the agency is supposed to help you with everything. The agency is supposed to help you get to your class. So I'm now like, okay, let me just use the map. The map says that the only way to get to the bus stop is a 30-minute walk. I'm just like, you know what? I get up early in the morning, leave the place at 6 a.m. in the morning. Walking.
What the fuck? Honestly, this program is actually like, every day I'm starting to realize that maybe I shouldn't have come to China. Not because of China, but because the program that I went with.
And mind you, China is cold at that time.
It feels like negative like 5. It's definitely in the negative, this weather. And to have to walk 30 minutes in this type of weather is really torture.
So now this guy calls me over, and I wasn't too scared to go to him because he looked like he's in uniform. He sends me this way. He walks with me, sends me this way. Then the next man, it's just me like lost, trying to find my way, and different uniform Chinese men trying to help me out. So they're trying to help me out, and then eventually one of them directs me, and I go this way, and I arrive at this English school. So a white woman was there, and she got me a cab, and I got to the subway station. From the subway station, it was easy to get to the class, but the subway, the way the subway was set up, the way you see in the videos where it's pock up to the rim, like you gotta push yourself in, that's how the subway was.
You guys, I'm so fucking done. I'm never getting to my destination. What is really good with this country? I'm never getting to my destination. Holy crap. Oh my god.
Finally get to the Mandarin class.
I say that was a fucking mission. That was a mission. I'm not gonna expect anything because I expected one thing before coming here and then I got shook. I got surprised. So I'm not gonna have any expectations for this Chinese language class and just see how it is when I get there. Thankfully, I'll be able to meet the other people who are also doing au pair here. I'm sure they have better families than I do. Like, I don't think I mean, it's not completely bad, but the daughter, she's nuts. She's really nuts. But yeah, I'm just gonna put this down because I'm almost there. I have to look at my directions. Oh.
I sign in. She gives me the textbook. I just got the textbook that day. Get into the class. The teacher is doing her little lesson. I'm just listening in. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna be listening in for this lesson. You know, I'm taking notes. You know, she's saying this, that. She comes up, first thing she's like, there's this, and this that you missed. I'm like, missed? Excuse me. They said that I'm supposed to be like starting with the class. Apparently they've been having classes before I even arrived in the country. So they're on page 56 of the textbook. So I'm like, okay, like I can catch up, but what time do I really have to catch up when I'm with that little girl 24/7? Now she's teaching the class and she's asking them, how do you say this in Mandarin? Or what does this mean in Mandarin? She's asking along the class, right? Then it comes to me and she asks me, she's like, oh, how do you say this in Mandarin? And I politely said, oh, sorry, I don't know because this is my first class. She goes, yeah, I know it's your first class. That's why we're learning. What does it say? Huh? I just got the textbook. How am I supposed to answer the question? Please elaborate. That teacher, she was just no. Another day, another student, the teacher asked the question and she answered the question partially right, but not completely. And then when she finished answering, the teacher was just like, okay, next time don't get it wrong. Like, is that how you teach? I'm so confused. We're trying to learn here. Like, what? That is not how you teach a class. I was like, okay, Mandarin class is going to be bad too. After the class would end, that's the only time I got to enjoy this trip, is when we would go out. We went to like different food places, or we went to see a mosque or shopping. Like, that's the only time after Mandarin class I wouldn't go straight back home. I would say that, oh, I got lost or something like that, and we'd go and explore Beijing. If I didn't do that, I would never get to see the city. And Beijing is beautiful. Even though with all this rant, my rant is not a reflection of the country itself. China is a very nice country. The people on the streets were very nice, although very like, you're literally like a golden statue there because I'm the only like black person more times. On the subway, In the subway in Toronto, people look at you too anyways. Like, they'll look at me, but if I look at them and they catch me looking, they'll turn away quick. You know what I mean?
In Beijing?
They ain't looking away. It's flattering too, but like real shit, you get a lot of attention in that type of sense. But Mandarin classes was not it either. Mandarin classes was really not it. And what really pushed me to say, you know what, I'm quitting earlier was the grandfather. Like, fucking delusional. It's beyond me. It is beyond me. It's beyond me. Everything the grandfather would blame everybody else for. And then I started to see that they were just talking bare shit at a dinner table. Because I don't understand Mandarin, obviously. The Mandarin class that I took, I learned 3 words. 谢谢, thank you. Boo, no, and hello, ni hao. Everything else I did not retain. Because I only went to like 3 classes because by the time I quit, so I wasn't going to no classes. Whenever I'd be at the dinner table, they would talk shit. Like, I would get the vibe because people don't understand that. When you're talking shit in your language, okay, I can understand you, but language is not just about words. I get the feeling, you know what I mean? When you're and you're looking at me and you're looking back. They're just like, they were talking mad shit, and then I ended up figuring out through the app. And I ended up figuring out through the nanny. And basically what they were saying is one time we were eating, right? One of the like old nannies who've been working there, she's talking about how, oh, look how much food she's eating. Da-da-da. Like, first of all, your whole leg is skinnier than my arm. You need to be eating the amount of food that I put on my plate. At the end of the dinner, when all the food is left over, because there's always leftover food, where does it go? Trash can. So why are you really clocking me for how much I'm eating? Like, this is supposed to be, you guys have to understand that you opened your home to have somebody live in your home to eat. Like, what if I was a big thing? You cannot be watching how much I eat like that. Like, what? And I wasn't even eating a lot. Like, you're actually disrespectful for just chatting about how much I'm eating while I'm sitting down here at the dinner table just because you think I can't understand what you're saying. Like, and then after, they were also talking about how, okay, so sometimes when we would go outside, I'm thinking that the grandfather is just a sweetheart. He's so nice. Like, we go outside and he would buy, like, say, a coffee drink, or, you know, whatever, wherever we are. Even though I came prepared because I was told that my transportation and my cell service would be paid for. And that all the other extra expenses, so if I want some food when I'm outside, or if I want to shop, I'd have to pay for it, obviously. So I brought enough money for that. I prepared, I saved up before I left for the trip. We're outside. I want coffee. I'm ready to pay for my coffee. I have my money in my hand. I'm going to pay for my coffee. Grandfather's like, no. I'll pay. And he pays for me, the nanny, and himself. So I'm thinking, oh, he's just a very kind man. He's paying for my coffee. And this is no language barrier, nothing, because the nanny speaks English, so she translates for him that I said I wanted to pay for my own coffee, and he decided to say, no, let me pay. So I'm thinking, oh, he's very nice. Like, he's paying for my coffee. Meantime, whole time, at the dinner table now, you want to be like, oh, and by the way, she's so greedy. Every time we go outside, she wants me to buy her something. Like, what? Anytime we go outside, I never ask you to buy me shit. I always have my money, and I'm ready to pay for my own things, but you're now trying to tell me that I want you to pay for my stuff because you offered to buy me stuff? Huh? And then another thing is with the cell service and the phone. I actually had enough money to get those 2 things for myself. But the only reason I asked them about it, I asked the mother and the grandfather, they wanted to act like I'm begging. Like, nobody's begging. The only reason I brought this up is because that's what's in the contract. That's what I was told before I came here, that those things would be paid for. If I'm gonna pay for it, then that's a contract discrepancy. Like, what's really going on? Like, you signed the contract. I don't understand why you don't know. Like, they're even trying to act like, oh, we don't know that you're only supposed to work for 7 hours a day. We thought that we have you for the whole day. Like, no, you signed the contracts, you read the contracts, and just, oh, the grandfather just belittled and just made you feel like so much damn shit. So I decided one day, I'm like, you know what, after me and like the nanny, we would talk all the time, and the new nanny, she wasn't even working for them. They got smart, because the amount of people that quit within the time period that I was there is ridiculous. You should know that if that many people are quitting for working with your family and your daughter, there's a problem with your daughter, not with the worker. So about 10 people quit while I was there. Then so they started getting smart with the new nanny. They're like, you're gonna have to sign a year contract if you want to work with us. And I'm telling her, sis, do not sign that contract. And she's still considering it because she's fascinated by the celebrity life, you know, because they're celebrities. She's more starstruck. She's not starstruck, but she's more, you know, because it would be like me working for Rihanna. I would be like, I'm finna work for Rihanna, you know what I mean? Like, if I was working for Rihanna and her kid was a little bratty, I might stick it through it just because it's Rihanna, you know, just to be in that, you know what I mean? That environment. She was very intrigued. So I kind of understood, but at the same time, I was like, sis, no, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Because of the grandfather being like that, and me just, like, I was like, I would want to help your kid, but I can't help her if you don't want to help her yourself, so I gotta quit. And you guys are talking mad shit about me for no reason when I've been nothing but kind when I came here. Like, I know I'm hyped now because obviously anyone would be vexed. Like, I literally decided to come here because, one, my life in Toronto was kind of trash. Not kind of trash. And just a lot for me to handle. So I was like, a good escape. It's a way to get my career started. It's going to be great. And then I ended up being in more bullshit. Like, it's like you can't run from bullshit. You really can't. Everywhere I go, there is bullshit. So I'm like, I quit. I got the papers for them to sign. I left. I took all my luggage. Then I took 2-hour subway ride to the hotel that the agency helped me find. Get out, and it's looking like a Young and Dundas type area, like a very touristy shops. There's a mall. I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me try and think positive. This is gonna be good. I got 9 days that I have to stay in this hotel, which is money that I did not expect to have to spend for a hotel. But you know what? I was like, I need to be out because that's the earliest flight is in 9 days. So I had to stay there. I'm like, okay, let me take a shower. This has been a long commute and I'm frustrated and I just need to relax and sleep. And I opened the shower door and I'm just like...
What the fuck? What the fuck? Stop playing! What the fuck? Stop playing! What the fuck is that? Ah! What the fuck is that? I'm scared!
This big ass roach. The roach, like, for scale, for size, the roach was maybe like this fat. If there's one roach, that means there's more roaches.
You see that big ass fucking roach? Like, I'm so done. I'm so done.
Like, and when I say I'm terrified of insects, like, no joke, no cap, no nothing. I am terrified of insects. Like, that's my biggest fear. And I'm just like, no, what did I do to deserve this? What did I do to deserve this? And I'm like, I can't go nowhere. I don't have anywhere. When I'm going to sleep on the road, I don't have anywhere. I literally made, like, myself into a burrito wrap in that blanket and a little flap over my head. I could pull it up and pull it down that night. Like, I made myself a burrito, and I'm like, there ain't no way I'm finna be sleeping and a roach crawls across my forehead. Are you dumb? Like, oh my god, I was just not having it. And for the 9 days, it was just not good. Like, I didn't prepare to not have food for 9 days, to not have a place to stay for 9 days. Like, so, like, more times, like, yo, I don't know, I got a little thick too because I was eating McDonald's every day. Like, I couldn't afford no gourmet type food. I went to the grocery store, but, like, it's a hotel room. They don't got no fridge, nothing. Like, it was just bad. It was just bad those 9 days. And plus, the Wi-Fi was okay, but my VPN was very shifty. I'm in the room with no laptop, my phone with a VPN that's not working. I don't have a book. I have nothing. I am bored. Out of my mind. I have nothing. And then touring, like, I'm like, I can tour to an extent. All the money that I would have had to be able to tour, I spent half of that on the hotel. My flight, usually, if you terminate your contract early, your flight there, your flight back, you have to pay for. Because of all the bullshit I had to deal with, I didn't have to pay for my flight there and back, but I did have to pay $1,000 to change my flight date. And it was just so bad in that hotel for the 9 days. The air, too. I can't explain, because China already has air pollution, right? But the hotel air was so dry, like unbelievably dry. My nostril I felt like my nose was just on the brink of bleeding throughout the whole time that I was sleeping there. Like, the air was so dry. 3 days after staying in that hotel, no, 3 days or 7 days? No, 3 days after staying in the hotel, the other nanny who was working there, she quit. She came to stay with me in my hotel, which was nice because I'm like, okay, I didn't have nobody. I was by myself. So the next question is, should you become an au pair? I'm not going to say no because I had a bad experience. Just know that when you decide to become an au pair, you're playing Russian roulette. You don't know what type of family you're going to stay with. Actually, there's also two options. Like, the Chinese one, it's to stay with the host family. But if I were to go to Korea for a year, I wouldn't be teaching a kid in a home. I'd be teaching in a school. And I would be living in an apartment that's paid for by the company. So that could be a better option if you want to au pair. But would I say no to au pairing completely? No, I wouldn't do that. I would say that if you want to be an au pair, make sure that you have enough money for the flight there, enough money for the flight back, enough money for a hotel, enough money for food, enough money to change your flight, just in case. That needs to be in your bank account, just in case. Because I got lucky that I had enough in my bank account to be able to solve my problem and a little bit of help from my brother. But if I didn't have that, I'd literally be fucked. I would literally be screwed. The trip just kept getting worse, and like, honestly, it just felt like I have an ex on my life. Because what are the chances that out of all the years that I could have went to China, I decided to go the year that they have a coronavirus outbreak, like a whole outbreak of a virus. And like, they were starting to message us saying like, oh, make sure you wear a mask, but not really telling us anything. And when I first really figured out about it, I was like, wait a minute, like, China. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm in China. Wait a minute, and I'm reading, and I'm just like, wait a whole minute. So you telling me I can catch this? But I wasn't really too scared. I was more like, what really was getting me scared was not the fact that I could catch the virus, because the breakout was in Wuhan, and even though there were 80 cases of the virus in Beijing is a huge city, and I was mostly home, so I wasn't too scared about catching the virus. But what I was scared about was being stuck in China, being stuck in a foreign country where you don't speak the language. My visa would have expired. Like, what would have happened if I were to be stuck there? It would just been, that would have been really bad. That would have been really bad. But while we're on the topic of the virus, people got me mad fucked up, because even me, who was that close, fear isn't a reason for you to be racist. Like, it isn't. It's disrespectful. It's disgusting behavior. I don't care how scared you are. I was scared when I was in the country, but you didn't see me doing that, because I know a lot of Chinese people who are very sweet people, just like me, just like you. Like, altogether, that trip was bad. I'm not finna lie to anybody and say that I enjoyed that trip. I want to say a good 90% of that trip was trash, was bullshit, was just no. I will say that China's beautiful. The time that I got to tour a little bit, I will say that the food was good. I will say that the people were nice. Some of them were nice. Some of them were a bit... The people that I stayed with were... Yeah, so I will say that this trip was just... I guess... I could take it as a learning experience. At least I went through this bullshit, so you don't have to. Now you know if you're going, because au pairing attracts people who want to travel but don't got travel money. But really, don't do it. Please don't do it, because one of us goes in and then we all, like, don't do it. If you don't have the money backup save to get yourself out of a situation, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And thank you for watching.